What's up, guys? Welcome to Southern Hike. I'm Taylor, and today we're talking about one of the most common things we all deal with, especially as beginners. I made a lot of these mistakes myself and would love to share some of them with you so maybe you don't make them. Guys, today I want to talk about beginner mistakes when you get into backpacking. Now, again, like I already said, just want to say that a lot of these mistakes I am guilty of myself. I have done them, but also me and Rachel have encountered people that have made these mistakes when they started backpacking. And also, when people come to us for advice, I say, hey, watch out for these things. So guys, we're going to go through all these. I got about 5 or 6 of them. We'll list them out and just things to watch out for if you're new to backpacking. Hey, we're Southern Hike. If you're interested in backpacking and want to learn more stuff or watch trip videos we do, or just tips and tricks and reviews of gear and stuff we like and enjoy, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell. And hey, if you're enjoying this so far, to hit the like button as one of the easiest ways to spread this to more people. Guys, let's get into it. One of the most common things, and I've talked about this in previous videos, and it seems to be a common issue, is temperature rating for gear. Now, especially for sleeping bags. A lot of people, when they buy the gear, it obviously gives a temp rating on when you're buying the piece of the gear, and they automatically think, okay, if the temperatures get down to that temperature, I'm safe. Well, that is not the case with a lot of gear out there. There's a lot of gear that advertise a limit value or a lower limit, and actually that is not the value you want to be at if you're in that temperature. So if it's rated at 20 degrees and you go in 20 degrees and then realize that that's actually the limit temperature and you're a cold sleeper, then you're going to be in trouble. So prime example, this is a REI bag I've had for years. Now, I love REI co-op gear. It's honestly done well. This has been a great sleeping bag. This one is going to be a 20 degree bag. I think this is their Trail Break 20 bag. But when you actually look on the inside of the bag itself, it says the comfort is 29 degrees Fahrenheit, but the temperature limit is 18 degrees Fahrenheit. So anything in between there, you're gonna move from comfort, and that's gonna be your transition into you're gonna be cold if you're a cold sleeper. Now, I sleep very hot. Honestly, this works fine for me. I do fine in this at 20 degrees, and I've done it before, but that's because some reason my body just turns into a furnace when I go to sleep. So this is a synthetic bag that works out well, but that's something to look out for. Now, there is companies out there that are true to that value, but there is that don't actually give you the true comfort value. So when you're shopping for sleeping bags, make sure to look for those numbers. A lot of companies like REI will kind of break it down in the specs, but a lot of times in the bag itself, when you look at the tag on the inside, or they'll say it on the inside of there, these are actual ratings that you need to be watching out for. All right, second one. Now, I've heard this one for years, and a lot of others talk about it too, but you should make sure you're knowing this if you really want to start getting into backpacking, is not packing your fears. Guys, I get it. You've never done this before, and you're really worried of what you could run into when you're out there and the what ifs, and you just want to carry extra stuff just in case that happens. Well, I'm not going to break it in specifics today, but things that you need to really think about is, do I really need that when I'm out there? What are the odds I'm really going to need that piece of gear? And just really think, is it really reasonable for me to have? And in the beginning, a lot of people talk about, and I personally use this tip myself, is that the first time I go on a trip, I bring all the gear I think I'm going to need, and then when I get home, I break it all out and see what I used and what I didn't use and what was there no chance of me using. So just to say, don't pack your fears. All right, now this one can be, I guess, controversial. I'm personally guilty of this one, and I don't understand, but I know that there is a lot of nice gear out there at a lot of expensive prices, and everybody basically buys from these mainstream gear companies. But sometimes that gear is not necessarily needed. You don't have to spend that kind of money. You can find cheaper options out there. I promise you, thru hikers are one of the top ones that will tell you, yeah, this worked fine for thousands of miles. I didn't need to spend that much money on it. So this third tip is to try to stay away from main gear as being the only way to go. And for lack of better gear company, Osprey is like the most common go-to if you're a new backpacker. But you're not necessarily always need Osprey. There's a lot of good other backpacks out there and just gear in general. And I could think of another one that's like rain jackets. Some people will spend $200 to $300 on a rain jacket. And I'm like, I get it. If you're in the rainforest and you're gonna be in the rain every day, yes, you want top tier 3-layer rain jackets, because a lot of cheaper jackets will drench through. But if you're just buying a rain jacket for those small showers you might run into, you can buy very cheap rain jackets. They're not going to cost you anything and save yourself a lot of money. So don't always go for the mainstream, top expensive gear. You don't always have to go for those. And honestly, you can be fine with some cheaper, different, I'm not going to list any gear companies, but cheaper, different rain gear for those occasional showers you might run into on trail. Now, this one includes myself, and I hope that we try to do the best we can, not to toot our own horn, the best we can to give you the best advice we know from our experience on trail. But hey guys, a lot of beginners do this. They say, hey, I saw this on YouTube. This person said I needed this. This person said this is the best piece of gear. You got to have this. Is not always listening to YouTubers. Yes, we try to share the best things knowledge we have from the trail, but gear we use is because over the years we've combed through a lot of stuff and found what worked best for us. But as I hate this term, hike your own hike, some things that work for one person don't always work for the other. So I know that when I list stuff that we use and we love, that's not always going to be the best thing for you. So yeah, take advantage of some of the awesome knowledge there is from YouTubers out there and people online that write articles and say, hey, this is the best gear. They not always have to be the best for you. So I don't mean that you got to go out there and buy a DCF tent out there and think, oh my God, a $700 tent, that's what I got to have to get in backpacking. Yeah, budget is a big thing for beginners, and it also intimidates a lot of people to get into backpacking, period. You don't always have to have the best gear that the YouTubers are using. A lot of us have just been using this gear for a long time and buying new stuff and bought pieces as we go on. And yes, we share them on our channels, but we didn't need this in the beginning, and we didn't have it in the beginning. We just worked our way towards it, and it's just what we found as we enjoyed backpacking more that we have found that something we love. You never know, you might not stick to backpacking forever. So don't think that you have to spend so much money in the beginning and buy all these knickknacks that us YouTubers talk about too. And guys, I love all my other YouTubers. I'm just saying that we all know as YouTubers that you don't always have to listen to us. All right, last one for today, and I would love to do one of these videos again in the future, but last one for beginner mistakes, and this is the most common I personally deal with a lot. It's people that get out there, want to go backpacking, they found a great spot. A lot of people said, hey, go to this state park, go to this national forest or national wilderness or national park, and this is the best spot to go. Well, they get all the gear together, they got that part done, but then they go and they're like, I just went to the ranger's office and they like don't have anything that I can do, or where do I go? I don't even know what to do when I get here. I just thought that they would set me up when I get here. Guys, it is so important to research what you're getting into, especially places like, I would say, for example, our state park that we go to all the time, the FDR State Park. It's so common for people to go there and think that they can just primitive camp anywhere they want and set up anywhere they want and not have permits or not have backcountry permits, period. I guess is the better way to say it. You've got to research your terrain and to research the environment you're going to and the state park rules and national park rules and understand what you're getting into. And then to add to that, talking about terrain, let's just try to understand what, do a little background on topography maps. They're not super hard to understand. Yes, they can be confusing with all those little squiggly lines, but understand terrain, elevation levels, that 3 miles in southern Georgia where it's flat is easy, but 3 miles in North Georgia where it's all mountain terrain can be huge elevation terrain differences, and that altitude can just destroy you very fast. Or I guess not altitude, that elevation could destroy you really fast, and you need to be prepared for that, especially if you're not in the best shape and you just want something easy to do. You just want to make sure you're prepared for the terrain you're getting into and not get out there and destroy yourself. Now, the last part of this, and this is why this is the biggest one to me, because it can kind of be broken down into its own separate categories, is water sources. Check before you go that you're not going to be doing 10 miles with no water sources. If you're not used to carrying or cameling a lot of water out there and you get on a 5 to 10 mile stretch and you're not prepared for the temperatures or what you're getting into and knowing that there's not going to be water for a long time, you could mess yourself up and get dehydrated really fast. So always research what you're getting into as far as maps, as far as rules, as far as terrain, as far as water, and what are the most important things that you need to be looking out for when you're in that area. So guys, these are all beginner mistakes that I have personally ran into and want to share them with you in this video. And guys, if you have mistakes that I didn't mention, because I know there's a ton more out there that you can think of in the comments, list them below, because anybody that sees this video, they might see those comments and say, hey, those are things to watch out for too. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. This is our weekly Thursday video. We do a weekly video every Thursday and mention our experiences and tips and tricks and reviews, and we'll continue to do that into 2022. Just want to say thank you to all our community that are here, and we will see you next week.